Many things about Trinidad have changed over the years, but oil dependency has remained a constant. And if the past is a guide, it doesn't bode well for the future.
I think it's important to remember that, that the petroleum sector and natural gas provides a lot of revenue to the government.
Have you tested a scenario in which the oil price could suddenly plummet to, say, $22, $23?
Our revenue earners are now not earning across the board. Oil, gas, commodities, they're all down in price.
Whether it is this administration or the previous administration or administrations past, what you have is a political directorate which is so focused on acquiring the rents from the energy sector and distributing those rents to the rest of us in society by subsidizing various things.
And alongside the desire to redistribute the wealth, there were attempts at transformation. Everyone has heard the phrase, diversify the economy.
You always hear about diversification, diversification. It's an annoying word.
But the necessity for transformation still exists, and in the present, it's led Trinidad to look for economic salvation in all the wrong places.
When you ask them, diversify into what? They can't tell you. What would you do to diversify the economy, especially if you abandon the energy sector? They can't tell you.
This documentary will look at the dynamics of that historical dependency and look at local solutions and paths taken and not taken.
Sun, Sea and Science. Well, Raymond Ramcharitar is joining us this morning. He is the man behind this film, saying that we're looking for economic salvation in all of the wrong places. A harsh look, a critical look, and some harsh statements being put out there. Pessimistic, optimistic or realistic? Good morning, Raymond. How are you?
All right.
What is the rationale behind it? The timing seems almost fortuitous.
Well, it is fortuitous, accidental, because as you know, I work for the ANSA Awards, and one of the things that I do is find ways to let people know about the work that our laureates are doing. And we have laureates who work in science. And when we were interviewing one laureate, Dr. Adish Ramsubag, this year, he was telling us about all the possibilities in biotechnology that are not being taken up. In fact, he and his research team at UWI are patenting a product that could reverse the global trend in antibiotic deficiency. So antibiotics are losing their effectiveness. He has found a compound from the pitch lake which will reverse that. So that's a multi-billion-dollar product. So we started to talk about the possibilities of other economic paths through science. And I saw that we were in a situation where the country was in trauma because of oil is ending. We all knew that. So I thought about 6 months ago, this would be a very good message that there are alternatives, and it would be a good way to promote the work that our laureates and our awards program is doing.
You, in that intro and the trailer, you said we look for economic salvation in all of the wrong places. And the Prime Minister in that clip also said that, where do you go beyond the energy sector? Is it that our politicians are simply unaware of it?
I don't know what politicians know and what they don't know. We have invited the Prime Minister to come to see the movie. It's 40 minutes long, and it's a pretty thorough examination of where we are, where we didn't go, and where we're going.
Where are we going?
Well, one of the things that you will see in the documentary is that 10 Chinese firms have been invited to ETEC to form the anchor tenants of ETEC. 5 Chinese banks have also been invited to come to Trinidad. China is undoubtedly the world's superpower, the economic superpower. They are, as America is closing in, China is expanding aggressively. That's a good thing. Unfortunately, there are criticisms of China's new thrust out into the world, into Asia, into Africa, into the Caribbean.
Many see it as imperialist.
It could be the new colonialism. Hillary Clinton was talking about this a few years ago. I remember distinctly on Yahoo News, Hillary Clinton said, you know, beware of Africa's generosity. And now it's being called, what is it, debt book diplomacy. China is being criticized, especially in Africa.
Yeah, I've seen that. Now, what are you hoping to achieve with this film? You know, people are going to look at it. One, what do you want them to see? But what do you really think is going to happen? Because we just seem to be on autopilot.
Well, two things about this film. One, I want people to see that there is hope. There's not just hope, there's very real possibilities of Trinidad being an economic miracle rather than an economic basket case. I mean, and that can happen in 5 years. That can happen in 5 years.
It hasn't happened in the 40-plus years.
I know.
Yeah?
But if people act, I mean, I sound like a salesman. If you act now, you know, it can happen. But what the purpose of the film is really to show people that your eyes are focused on the wrong place. And the second thing as to what will happen, I don't know what will happen. I mean, the job of, I think, anybody with the means to do so is to educate the public, and that is primarily what this film is about.
Educating the public, and it's all part of exposing the work that not only the laureates have done, but the alternative part that we have.
Well, now you have to balance two things here. Now, all laureates are, especially in science, but in all areas, are really brilliant people, and I tend to be very cynical about it. But when you see what these people have done, you're agog, you know. For example, the same Dr. Raymond Ramcharitar, right? He has found all kinds of the biodiversity in our soil is like 1 million times more than in temperate climates. So we actually have gold, but we're importing brass. That's what it is. And he's found bacteria that will help in bioremediation, that could clean up oil spills. He's found bacteria that will increase agricultural yields. He's found things that have applications in medicine. And it's not a pipe dream, because Cuba was where we are 20 years ago, and they invested heavily in biotechnology, and now Cuba is one of the world's leading biotechnology exporters.
Now, this film is also being showed at TT Film Festival.
It is, yes. It's on Saturday at UWI at 5 p.m. at the Film Center on Carmody Street, and Sunday at 1 p.m. at Movie Town, Screen 7.
Who should be looking at this?
Everybody. Everybody. You see, yes, the government should look at it. They should, investors should look at it. And, but mainly the public, because there's a lot of hopelessness now. Hopefully, because of our links to CNC3, we will try to have it shown on CNC3 after. We couldn't do it before the festival because, you know, we're contractually bound to let the festival premiere it. But I think as school, one of the most transformative elements in my education was when I read Wayne Brown in the newspapers and V.S. Naipaul. And you thought, if they could do that, and they're from here, I could do that.
What is the one part of this film that you're doing this, bringing this to life, that shocked even you? Most disappointing and most hopeful?
Well, the most hopeful thing is that, as I said, everything we need to be rich and happy is right here. The most disappointing thing is we're probably not going to do anything about it. And we're going to remain poor and miserable for the foreseeable future.
We're going to take a short break, and as we go, a quick reminder as to why you should be looking at this. Sun, sea, and science. Everything we have is right here. If we don't act now, we probably will remain poor and miserable. Raymond Ramcharitar.
So focused on the acquiring the rents from the energy sector and distributing those rents to the rest of us in society by subsidizing various things.
And alongside the desire to redistribute the wealth, there were attempts at transformation.